Shabbat Shalom. Here we are back again with a new parasha, and today we're going to speak about the parasha Chaye Sarah, and Sarah lived. So there are many points you can read, in this text, but we concentrate on a few of them to show them texts we shouldn't see exactly in the Torah, because it is simply not mentioned. So I used to read the book of Yasher, which you can find in two places in the Tanakh. It is written in 1 Samuel and in the book of Joshua, Yehoshua, the son of Nun, in chapter 10. Two times in the name, the book of Yasher mentioned in the Tanakh. So it is a reference, and even today, many Jews use this book to learn about details which you don't find in the Tanakh or in the Torah. So this parasha starts with the death of Sarah. And we need to understand, because this death has a consequence which impact even the land of Israel today. And I will explain. So I read the plain text here in the chapter 23 from Berishit, Genesis, and I will explain. And Sarah lived 127 years, the years of the life of Sarah. So first, in Hebrew it's not written so, it is written, and Sarah lived 100 years and 20 years and 7 years. Could have been written another way, but there is something special to explain about her life. Verse 2, Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham came to mourn to Sarah and to weep for her. So we say here, Abraham came to mourn for Sarah. He came to mourn. Why it is written that he came to mourn? Simply because the place Hebron was not the place of where Abraham and Sarah lived. And we know that from the precedent parasha, when Raya, where we see that they live in Beersheba. And for the context, from today's context, I will go back to this parasha, and we read, Abraham make a covenant with Avimelech, and we read, and Abraham set 7 ewe lambs on the floor by themselves, and Avimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which you are set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shall you take off my hands, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called that place Beersheba, because that's where both of them. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Avimelech rose up and Pichol, the chief captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba and called there on the name of Jehovah, the everlasting Elohim. And Abraham sojourned on the Philistines' land many days. And then in the chapter 22, which is not the parasha from today, we read, came to pass after the thing that Elohim did tempt Abraham, it's not a tempt, because Elohim cannot be tempted. He doesn't tempt, tested Abraham and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, behold, here I am. And he said, take now thy son, thy only son, Yitzhak, whom you love, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him therefore a burnt offering and olah upon one of the mountains which I will tell you. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him, and Yitzhak his son, and cleared the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went into the place of which Elohim had told him. Then on the third day, Avram lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Avram said to his young man, abide you here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. We will come again to you, both. And Avram took the wood of the burnt offering and laid upon Yitzchak his son. So that is the context of this. He left from Beersheba, went to the land of Moriah, which was not far. They went together. Now today, we start the parasha reading that Sarah was 107 and 20 years when she died in Kiryat Arba, which is Hebron, which is a place which belonged to Ephron. Okay, so we need to understand that because it's very important. So I will explain. So in order to understand, we have to go to the book of Yasher and explain that. We speak about the death of Sarah. Sarah was the wife of Abraham, and we know from the Brit Hadashah, Kepha, Peter speak about Sarah in a certain way, because she embodied exactly the woman that we should have today in the assembly. So now we come back to that. So we read in the book of Yasher, chapter 23, when Abraham told Sarah, okay, I go with Yitzchak. We're gonna worship, and then we come back. And now he said, while they went, we read in the book of Yasher, and Satan went to Sarah, and he appeared to her in the figure of an old man, very humble. Excuse me, very humble and meek. And Avram was yet engaged in the burnt offering before Jehovah. And he said to her, does you not know all the work that Avram has made with thine only son this day? For he took Yitzchak and built an altar and killed him, and brought him up as an offering upon the altar. And Yitzchak cried and wept before his father. But he looked not at him, neither did he have compassion over him. And Satan repeated these words, and we went away from her. And Sarah heard all the word of Satan. And she imagined him to be an old man from among the sons of men, who had been with her son, and had come and told her these things. And Sarah lifted her voice and wept, and cried out bitterly on account of her son. And she threw herself upon the ground, and she cast the dust upon her head, and she said, O my son, Yitzchak, my son, oh that I had this day die instead of you. And she continued to weep and say, it grieved me for thee, O my son Yitzchak, oh that I had died this day in thy stead. And she still continued to weep and say, it grieves me for thee, after that I have reared thee and have brought thee up. Now my joy is turned into mourning over you. I that had a longing for you, and cry and pray to Elohim, till I bear thee 19 years old, and now as you serve this day, for the knife and the fire to be made an offering. But I console myself with you, my son, and is being the word of Jehovah, for you disperform the command of Jehovah, for who can transgress the word of our Elohim, in whose hand is the soul of every living creature. You are just, O Jehovah, O Elohim, for all thy work are good and righteous, for I also am rejoiced with thy word, which you did command, and whilst my eyes weeps, bitterly my heart rejoiced. Sarah laid her head upon the bosom of one of her handmaids, and she became as still as a stone. She afterward rose up and went about making inquiries till she came to Hebron. And she inquired all those whom she met walking in the road, and no one could tell her what had happened to her son. And she came with her maidservants and men servant to Kiryat Arba, which is Ephron. And she asked concerning her son, and she remained there while she sent some of the servants to seek where Abraham had gone with Yitzhak. They went to seek him in the house of Shem and Eber, and they could not find, and they sought throughout the land, and he was not there. And behold, Satan came to Sarah in the shape of an old man, and he came and stood before her, and he said unto her, I spoke falsely unto you, for Abraham did not kill his son, and he is not dead. And when she heard, the work of her joy was so exceedingly violent on account of her son, that her soul went out through joy. She died and was gathered to her people. And when Abraham had finished his service, he returned with his son Yitzhak to his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba. And they came home, Beersheba. They came home, so they were living in Beersheba. And Abraham sought for Sarah and could not find her. He made inquiries concerning her, and they said to him, She went as far as Hebron to seek you both where you are gone. For thus was she informed. And Abraham and Yitzhak went to her to Hebron, and when they found that she was dead, they lifted up their voice and wept bitterly over her. And Yitzhak fell upon his mother's face and wept over her. And he said, Oh, my mother, how hast you left me, and where hast you gone? Oh, how hast you left me? And Abraham and Yitzhak wept greatly, and all the servants wept with them on account of Sarah, and they mourned over her a great and heavy mourning. So now we see that Abraham and Yitzhak came back to Beersheba before they went to Hebron. So it was a certain distance from their place. So now we know that they are in Hebron. This is the land of Ephron, and we will see the reason why it is so important. Now we see that the recording now makes more sense when we understand the context. We see that Abraham has not come in the place in Hebron by coincidence, but because Sarah was there, and Sarah was misled by Satan to go to Hebron. Nevertheless, we're going to see that it was a good plan, because it is in this place that Abraham will buy the cave of Machpelah. Machpelah is in Hebron, and it is very important to understand that, because today Machpelah, or the Hebron, is a place where the Jews have no right to go. They are not allowed to go to Machpelah, to the place of the patriarch and the matriarch. So they have no right. Even today, this is why the place is still a place of battle to recovery. But we know from the Torah, and I will read it again to show you that this is recorded. This recorded before witness, and I will read for you to understand what is going on there in a spiritual realm today. Today this battle exists. Remember, Shaul tells us we don't fight against flesh and blood, but even the dark place in the heavenly realm. So we have to understand that our battle is not against flesh and blood, but really the spiritual forces who hinder us to reach our potential, and that is very important. Now, if I go there and I go back to the chapter 24 from the book of Yasher to explain what is going on, and I will read from the chapter 24 from the verse 7. And Ephron and all his brethren heard this, and Abraham waited to Ephron 400 shekels of silver in the hand of Ephron, in the hand of all his brethren. And Abraham wrote this translation, and he wrote it and testified with 4 witnesses. So what we read here, it is consequent what we read in the chapter 23, excuse me. What he said, look, he said here, Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth, and he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, this means out of the place where I'm living, hear me and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zoar, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he has, which is in the end of the field, for as much money as it is worth, he shall give it for me for a possession of a burying place among you. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Chet. And Ephron the Hittite answered Avram in the audience of the children of Chet, even of all that went in at the gate of this city, saying, Nay, my master, hear me, the field give I you, and the cave that is therein. I give it you in the presence of the sons of my people, give I it thee. Bury thy dead. You see, offering to give him the field and the cave, Machpelah. But Avram bowed down himself before the people of the land, and he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if you will give it, I pray you, hear me. I will give you money for the field, take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. And Ephron answered Avram, saying unto him, My master, hearken to me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and you? Bury therefore thy dead. And Avram hearkened unto Ephron, and Avram waited to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the son of Chet, 400 shekels of silver, current money with a merchant. And the field of Ephron which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Chet, before all that went in at the gate of the city. And after this Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre, the same is Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for possession of the burying place by the son of Chet. So here we see clearly that the book Yashar explains us that he has four witnesses, and to make this, he wrote this transaction. It is a written deed of sale. It is written. It is a witness even today that the land belonged to Abraham and all those who are buried there. Now it's very interesting because he keep going and said, and these are the name of the witness: Amigal, son of Abishna, the Hittite; Adi Chochom, the son of Ashunach, the Hivite; Abdon, son of Aricham, the Gomerite; and Batkir, the son of Abudish, the Sidonite. And Abraham took the book of the purchase, placed it in his treasures, and these are the words that Abraham wrote in the book, namely, that the cave and the field Abraham bought from Ephron the Hittite, and from his seed, and from those that go out of his city, and from their seed forever, are to be a purchase to Abraham and to his seed, and to those that go forth from his loins. This means the inheritance of Abraham, the seed of Abraham that come from his loins, is Yitzchak, Yaakov, and the 12 children of Yaakov, for a possession of a burial place forever. And he put a signet to it and testified with witnesses. And the field and the cave that was in it, and all that place were made sure unto Abraham and to his seed after him, from the children of Chet. Behold, it is before Mamre in Hebron, which is in the land of Canaan. And after this, Abraham buried his wife Sarah there, and that place and all its boundary became to Abraham and to his seed for possession of a burial place. And Abraham buried Sarah with pomp, as observed at the interment of king, and she was buried in a very fine and beautiful garment. And at her burial, Shem, his son Eber, and Avimelech, together with Anna, Ashkol, and Mamre, and all the grandeur of the land, follow her bier. And the days of Sarah went 127 years, and she died. And Abraham made a great and heavy mourning, and he performed the rites of mourning for 7 days. You see, it's very interesting here because we go more inside in the context of the death of Sarah, why she was buried, and why it is important we have the record here of the purchasing of the Marpella and the land which surround the field that surround Marpella, which is a witness against all those today who want to take this land from which Jehovah himself has given to Abraham, Yitzhak, Jacob, and to their descendants. This is very important. Now I go back to Sarah, because we read in the book of Kepha something beautiful about Sarah. Sarah and Abraham, remember I spoke that in the last parasha, they embodies the renewal of the covenant which was broken by Adam. We know that from Adam, Adam failed. He failed. He didn't fulfill his call. He was not able. He failed and was thrown out of Gan Eden. From this time on, we have a shift. We have a change in the life we have today. Unfortunately, due to the lack of understanding of mankind, we are all in the bondage. We are falling to the bondage of the world. The world is the earthly system. This earthly system is called to be removed. He will be removed. He will be no more existing after the time of Mashiach. Now, Adam failed. He was thrown out of Gan Eden for 1,000 years, the patience of Elohim, before he decided to destroy mankind, because they went their own ways. They were walking in their own lust and in their own flesh. He took Noah and his family to rebuild. So we have 10 generations from Adam to Noah. So he destroyed the whole world, save Noah and his family, 8 in all. And from that he will rebuild, or he will, if you will, he will recreate the world. So we have from Noah, we have Ham, we have Japhet, and we have Shem. What is interesting for us is the lineage from Shem. And from Shem we will have the lineage of Abraham. From Shem to Abraham we have 10 generations. We come to the generation of Nimrod. Nimrod is again destroying all what Jehovah wants to do to restore the lineage of Adam. And Abraham was living among Nimrod with his father TORAH, and they were fall in idolatry. But in the birth of Abraham, he was told Nimrod that the boy which should be born will be a problem to him, will be a trouble to him. So he decided to kill the firstborn. Familiar, right? We see that with Yeshua. He decided to kill the firstborn. So the father from Abraham decided to protect him. He sent him to the tent of Shem and Ever to protect him. And he spent there more than 30 years. 30 years in the tent of Shem and Ever. And he was raised in the Torah. Abraham was not picked up at 75 just because Elohim decided to take a man. No, he was taken because he was trained in the Torah, in the word of truth. Now Abraham, when he inquired about the existence of the one true Creator, Yehovah Tsebaot, he decided to leave the place of his father. And he left. He took, first of all, Abraham was known to be a man who declared to everyone the oneness of the living Elohim. And we see that in the text, in the parasha, when Yehovah told Abraham to leave. I have to go back to the book of Berishit to show you that, because it's very important to understand the context. If we miss that, we will not understand. We see that in the parasha Lech Lecha, which is very fascinating. Let me go there. Lech Lecha. Just go where? maybe okay. In the chapter 12, it says, Now Jehovah said unto Abraham, Get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, from thy father's house, unto the land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, I will bless you, I will make thy name great, I shall be a blessing, and so on. And they say, and verse 4, So Abraham departed as Jehovah had spoken to him, and Lot went with him, and Abraham was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abraham took Sarai, his wife, Lot, his brother's son, and all the substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had got in Haran. Abraham, trained in the reality that there is only one creator, was winning soul for the kingdom. You see, he didn't wait that he goes out. Already in the land of Nimrod, he was winning soul. And they left Haran with him. So that's what the work of Abraham. Abraham was a man who was completely devoted to the service of Jehovah. And Sarah, his wife, followed him in a perfection. Sarah was the soulmate. My wife brought data which is interesting. She was the tikkun of Chava. Remember that in Berishit, Chava failed because she was tempted by Satan and she failed. And she gave the fruit to her husband. You see, Sarah was the opposite of that. Sarah did not take anything in her hand. She submitted to her husband. And what we read in the book of Kepha is very interesting. If I go to 1 Peter, I will show you, chapter 3, we can read following. Very interesting. It says this. Likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband, and if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wives, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning, let it not be that outward of plaiting the hair, of wearing of gold, of putting on of apparel, and of nice clothes, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of Elohim of great price. For after this manner, in the old time, the holy woman, the set-apart woman, in the old time, who trust in Elohim, adorn themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him master, whose daughter you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. So here is very interesting, because we need to understand that here we read. I will read a commentary which I read from the first fruit of Zion, which is very interesting. It says, here, modest come from the word sana, a word that implies humility, submission, and discretion. A modest person is a person who knows the difference between private and public, inside and outside, male and female. So you see, a modest person is not submitting to the husband, is not in any case to be the slave or to be the servant. It's not to be a slave. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do for a woman to know her position. She is the helper. Remember in Berishit chapter 2, Elohim said, it's not good for a man to stay alone. Let us make him a helper. So we need to understand that the wife is a helper to the husband. The husband is the head of the family, but the husband is not ruling with wrong authority on the wife. Sarah is exactly what Elohim wants in a family between the husband and the wife. And this is very important to understand. And we I encourage every woman, every young girl to prepare themselves for for a life with a husband, and not to think that you have a husband who will do whatever you want. No, the husband is called to follow Elohim, and so the wife must submit to the husband in meekness and with the, he say here, with discretion. So this is very important to understand, that everyone must do like Sarah. So this is why I give these details here today for the young woman and the woman. Sometimes we have conflict in the couple. This conflict do not need to be. If everyone know his portion, believe me, it's not easy for the husband, because the husband has also his own responsibility. He has not the right to abuse the woman, the wife. He has no right. He is responsible. He has more responsibility than the woman, than the wife. Okay? So, thus said, I just want to go shortly about also the choice of the wife for the son, Yitzhak. Okay? Yitzhak was not dead. Of course, it was a big lie from the Satan. Now, Abraham was old, and he decided to send his servant Eliezer to his own family, to his own relatives, to take a bride for his son Yitzhak. Now, what is very interesting is that, you know, Abraham was a prophet, and Abraham knew many things. And when he chose, he said he doesn't want to go to the Canaanite. He knew the Canaanite very well. Why doesn't take from the Canaanite? Because they were immoral in their ways. They were idolaters. And he said, okay, I will go to my kindred. Yeah, unfortunately, yes, it's kindred, they were also idolaters, but he preferred to choose in his own family. What does it mean? If we look in a deeper level, behind the letter, this is the hiding truth which reveals that Eliezer play a role, if we want, play a role in this story, and he represents something very clear. Rivka represents also something, and Yitzhak represents also something. So you see, if I go now into the deepest meaning, I will see behind the letter a beautiful story which is a shadow of the things to come. Remember, it's not for me. It is Shaul who explained that the Torah is a shadow of the things to come. We have to explore the Torah in order to find that Elohim, as it is written by the word of Yeshayahu, speak the end from the beginning. So he tells us from the beginning, in the story of the patriarchs, in the story of the children of Israel, what will be in the last days. Unfortunately, today, majority of people, when they want to speak about prophecy, they go to the book of Revelation. So they start with the ends, so-called ends. But this is not the way it should be, because Elohim tells us, I think it is in chapter 46, from the book of Yeshayahu, that he is Elohim, there is no other beside him, and that he speaks the end from the beginning, and that he will stand. So if you want to know the truth, instead to go to the book of Revelation, we should go to the book of Berishit, which is the book of the beginning. Now, here is interesting, because Eliezer is an image of the Roi HaKodesh. Okay, he's serving his master. The Roi HaKodesh is the Roi of Elohim. Here we see Eliezer in the literal text. He's serving his master Abraham, and Abraham told Eliezer to go to look for a bride for his son. So the Roi HaKodesh is in charge to look a bride for the son of Elohim, Yehovah, and he is Yeshua. Yeshua is the son of the living Elohim, and the Roi HaKodesh, where does he go? He goes to the kindred. He goes to the nations, to the Goim, to take out of the nations the bride for the son. Where do we read that? Oh yes, we can read that. We can read that in the book of Acts. We go to the book of Acts and we read beautifully what is written. It says here, you know, in the book of Acts, it's a story which is a problem because some Jew who believe in Yeshua say that in order to be saved, in the verse 1 they say, and certain men which came down from Yehuda told the brethren, except you be circumcised of the manner of Moshe, you cannot be saved. Oh, they said that in the presence of Shaul and Barnabas. So they did agree with that. They said, no, it's not possible. Shaul do not take any decision. He decided to go to Kepha, Yohanan, and Yaakov to settle the problem. And they went. And now we read here, I take it from the text, and the apostle and the elder came together to consider of this matter. Chapter 15 from the book of Acts, verse 6. And when there had been much disputing, Kepha rose up and said to them, Men, brethren, you know how that a good while ago Elohim made a choice among us that the Goyim, the Gentiles, the nations, by my mouth should hear the word of the Bezorah, the good news, and believe. And Elohim, which know the heart, bear them witness, giving them the TORAH Kodesh as unto us, and put no difference between us and them, purifying their heart by emunah, by faith. Now therefore, why tempt you Elohim to put a yoke upon the neck of the disciple? The yoke was here, the circumcision, which neither our fathers nor we were able to bear. But we believe that through the chesed, the favor of the Master Yeshua Mashiach, we shall be saved even as they. They is the nations. Don't forget, as they. But we believe that through the favor of the Master Yeshua Mashiach, we shall be saved even as they. Then all the multitude kept silence and gave all ears to Barnabas and Shaul, declaring what miracle and wonders Elohim has brought among the Goyim by them. And after that they held their peace. Yaakov answered, saying, Men and brethren, hearken unto me. Shimon, Kepha, has declared how Elohim at the first did visit the Goyim, the nation, to take out of them a people for his name. And to this agreed the word of the prophet, as it is written, After this I will return, and I will build again the tabernacle of David, which is from Amos 9:11, which is fallen down, and I will build again the ruin thereof, and I will set it up, that the residue of man might seek after Jehovah, and all the Goyim upon whom my name is called, says Jehovah, who does all these things. There is a lot to say about the Goyim who are there, but this is for another video. Now what I want to understand, to show here, is a story about Yitzchak, Rivka, and Abraham, and Eliezer. So Abraham has a clear mind. He sent his servant Eliezer to his relative, as exactly today in the spiritual realm, the TORAH Kodesh is going throughout the nations which are pagans by name. Remember, Ephesians chapter 2 tells us that before you were among the pagans outside the covenant without Elohim. It was the case for Rivka. Rivka was among a family. They were living in Mesopotamia, which is today Iraq, and she was among the pagans. What is precious to understand, remember Shaul, he said that he wants to present you, the believer, as a virgin.
Chaste virgin.
A chaste virgin. And this is very important to understand, because the text here tells us clearly that when Eliezer has prayed, he was following the Ruach, praying to Jehovah to lead him. He come to the place, and we read here very, very beautifully written in the parasha from today. And we read, same to. So he prayed, and the servant took 10 camels, the camel with his master, and departed for the goods of his master in his hand, and he rose and went to Mesopotamia, also is Iraq, and the city of Nahor. And he made his camel to kneel down without the city by the well of water at the time of the evening, the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Jehovah, Elohim of my master Abraham, I pray you, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray you, that I may drink, and she shall say, drink, I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that you hast appointed for thy servant Yitzchak, and thereby shall I know that you hast shown kindness unto my master. And it came to pass before he had done speaking that behold, Rivkah came out, who was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with a pitcher upon her shoulder. And the damsel, that's very important, was fair to look upon her, a virgin, neither had any man known her. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. Now, if you have any doubt about the word virgin, as it is told by some that Yeshayahu chapter 7 talk about a virgin, you will look at the word, the definition of virgin. It is written in the Hebrew text here, in the chapter 24, verse 16. The damsel was to look upon a virgin. You will read the verse Betula. Betula is a young woman who has neither any man known her. That's the definition of virgin. But in the text of Yeshayahu, you will see it's not about a virgin, it is about a young woman, because the word is used here is Betula. Betula is not a virgin, it's a young woman. Virgin or not, we don't know. Okay? So here you have the verse. We know that Rivkah was a virgin. I say that because Shaul applied it in a spiritual way. When he said, I want to present you as a chaste virgin. You see, virgin is one who is not corrupt in other religion, who do not mix religion, but his heart is fully devoted to serve the living Elohim, Yehovah Tsebaot, working according to the Torah with the best of his ability. This was the case from Rivkah. Rivkah was a woman who has never looked at other men, and she was living in her father's house. Now he will take the woman, and what is interesting is so he gave gift. He gave gift. You see the gift. It was for the nose in gold, and the bracelet in gold, and so on. Shaul will explain that we have received the gift also, but they are spiritual gift. Okay, and he said, "Come, you blessed of Jehovah, wherefore stand you without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels." And he said, and the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. You see, traditional way of washing the feet was already there. And there was set food before him to eat, but he said, I will not eat until I have told my errand. And he says, speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant. And he will explain the reason why he come. And he said, here, and my master made me swear, saying, you shall take a wife to my son of the daughter of the Canaanites, in whose hand I dwell. But you shall go unto my father's house, and to my kindred, take a wife unto my son. When we understand that, we know that all those who come back to be part of Israel, they have been called. The Ruach Kodesh is doing the work Eliezer does with Rivkah. He's going through the land, through the whole earth, to take for Elohim, as we read in the book of Acts, a people for his name. This is what we have to understand. Rivkah is a shadow of the true assembly. She is pure. She's pure, she's a virgin, she's a Betula. She has never known a man, which is in shadow of the spiritual life that we should present. We should present ourselves as a virgin unto Elohim, to prepare ourselves. Remember the story of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25. We know there are 5 foolish and 5 righteous. So we have to choose to whom we belong. Do we belong to the foolish who do not keep the oil, or do we belong to the righteous who keep the oil? So this is our lesson for us. And now Rivka will be asked. And Rivka is very interesting. He said, look, it was said here, let me go down. So he explained, and he goes on. Then Laban and Bethuel answered, let the things proceed from Jehovah. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rivka is before you. Take and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as Jehovah has spoken. It came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard the word, he worshipped Jehovah, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth jewels, silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment, and gave them to Rivka. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. What is interesting, he said in verse 57, he said, and they said, this is the parents, we will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. They called Rivka and said to her, will you go with this man? And she said, I will go. You see, the girl Rivka is not forced to go. She has been asked, and she doesn't hesitate. She said, I will go. What do we read in the Brit Hadashah? They said, you have not seen Yeshua, but you believe. You see, Rivka is the same. She has not seen the future husband. She doesn't know Yitzhak. I never seen. But she goes. She goes. She trusts her heart. She trusts what she has inside. To leave her father's place, which is a pagan place, to go to another place, which she believes will be better for her. You see, this is exactly the shadow of the things today. Today, the TORAH Kodesh is working all around the world, in different places, to bring back those who have been chosen to become the bride of the Mashiach. So this is very important to understand. It's not just a story about Rivka and Yitzhak. It is a story about a pure assembly which is looking for the groom. This is very important to understand. And we know that the day will come. It is the work of the TORAH Kodesh in every believer to prepare the heart to be the bride of the Mashiach. So, I hope this will help to understand that the Torah is a shadow of the things to come. Once again, we see it in the story of Abraham and Sarah, in the story of Yitzhak and Rivka, and we will have more to come with the life of Yaakov. And we see that at the end of this parasha, we see that when Sarah is dead, or after Sarah's death, we see that Abraham married again Keturah, and he will have children with Keturah. So don't forget that Abraham died with 175 years old. And we see that he will have children, but all his inheritance he gave to Yitzhak, not to the other children, not to the children of Keturah. And this is very important to understand. Once again, the heritage was embodied. The vision of Elohim is to be found in Abraham and Sarah. Later on in Yitzhak and Rivka. Later on in the life of Yaakov with Rachel and Leah, which is another story, and we will speak about that when time comes, because it's very important to understand. So when we study the Torah, every Shabbat is just to build our emunah, to be transformed according to the word of Shaul in Romans 12 verse 2, when he says, I beseech you, brethren, do not be conformed to this world, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. And when we study the Torah and we pray, we say, Father, thank you for your words. May this word become alive in my life. Then we are transformed from, like shall say, from glory to glory. We are transformed Shabbat after Shabbat. Year after year, we are transformed more and more in the image of our Adon, Yehoshua HaMashiach. I wish you a wonderful week. May you be blessed to dig into the word. May Yehovah bless you abundantly. May He make you fruitful in every good deeds. And we see you again in the next parasha, Yehovah's willing. So thank you for watching, listening, and see you next time. Bye-bye. Shalom.